You know, one of the worst experiences for anyone in life would be to lose uh, your child. Personally, I'm not a parent, but I can imagine that losing a child must be one of the most painful experiences ever. Uh, it's always sad when people die, when good people die. But it's even sadder when younger people die because they're usually so innocent and so pure, and uh, you know, it's really hard to fathom that they've just left us too early, way too early. Now, yesterday I heard of the news that one of Kenya's famous rappers, Nazizi, I think her name is Nazizi, she lost her 5-year-old son. I believe he was 5. I might be wrong. Back in December 25th, after a horrible accident. I don't know what kind of accident it was, but uh, obviously I don't know Nazizi personally. But I just happen to be a fan. But I'm terribly sorry for the family and friends and everyone. But funny enough, not funny enough, but myself, growing up, I also got to witness uh, the death of a very young person too. Now, here's the context. So I used to go to middle school. It's commonly known as primary school. At Wasingishu Primary School and High School. So Wasingishu UGPS, that's how they call it. UGPS is a middle school in Eldoret, right? It also has a high school, and it also has a elementary school, which they call nursery school back in Kenya. And something very terrible happened when we were back in middle school or primary school. I'm gonna call it middle school for the rest of the video, so I hope you all understand that, so I don't have to keep repeating that. So anyway, back I think it was about 2008, 2009 there. Uh, was this school? Like I said, it had a elementary school, right? And so since this school was in an urban area, it's in the middle of Eldoret. There's not a lot of space. So we used to share the elementary, the primary school, and the high school. They all used to share the same playing field. It's a huge playing field. There was a soccer field, hockey field, and all kind of games could be played on that field. But the one you, the one I want you to keep in, I want you to note uh, the hockey field, and it's not American hockey. It's not ice hockey. See, back in Kenya, we play hockey, but it's the regular hockey with sticks and whatnot. So we used to have this huge goalpost, right? A huge goal. If you've never seen a goalpost for hockey, it's like a huge metal goalpost. It's not as large as a soccer ball goalpost, but instead of having nets uh, uh, of what is it called, plastic, it's actually made out of metal throughout, because they strike the hockey ball super hard, so it goes at a high rate of speed. So they have to make the goalpost with metal, and that is important to the story. So basically, they are very a hockey goalpost is usually very heavy on the bottom, so that way it doesn't topple over really easy. But when it does topple over, it topples over. It like rolls over very fast and very dangerously. And I want you to note that while I'm explaining this video. So anyway, one of the games we used to like to play back in middle school or primary school was actually just climbing. We were kids, so we would climb on top of the hockey goalpost, because we were being kids, right? That wasn't the only game we used to play, but that was among the games we used to play. And whenever we got on top of it, we'd hang on top of you see the top upper part of the hockey of the goalpost. Some of us would holler onto it sometimes. I didn't do it too much, but Back in 2008, there was a group of children. That time, I remember it was about 10 a.m. You know, in Kenya, 10 a.m. Most students have a little break. 10 a.m. So we used to go over there and play for like 20, 30 minutes, then go back to class. So it was during that period. Some kids had gone, and some of them had climbed on top of the goalpost. And I want you to note one thing. You know, the high school, that middle school, that school was actually located. It's still located there. It's still located in western part of Eldoret. People call it Eastleigh, and that's because it has a lot of Somali people, and so half of the population was Muslim. And I have to mention this because it's very relevant to the story. Half of the population was Muslim, and so one time, a group of students, elementary students, were playing on that goalpost, right? And some of them had climbed on top of the goalpost. So the thing was getting unstable. Like the goalpost was, I mean, there was a lot of kids hanging from it, and so it was getting real unstable and wanting to topple over. And so here enters our main character of this story. Uh, the child, he was a very, very young child, probably 6 years old. So he was still in elementary, or as we call it, nursery school. And so he was just playing with other kids. They were just jumping on top of that uh, goalpost and just playing. But that day, there was just a lot of kids on that goalpost, so it got too unstable. And this guy, this young boy, let's just call him Abdul. That's not his real name, but I figured that's the first Muslim name that came to my head. So Abdul was playing with other kids, man, and they were like on top of that hockey goalpost, hanging from it, just playing. And the thing got unstable, and it rolled over, and he was on top of it, and he was holding it, hanging from it when it started coming down. I don't know how, but it fell on him right here. He was holding like this, and the whole goalpost just fell, and it crushed his chest. Literally, his lungs just collapsed. Like, he was so tiny, so this thing was really heavy, and that thing could have killed a full-grown man. But this was just a kid. He was about 6 years old, and the whole thing just came, crushed him, and yeah, it was very bad, very very bad, as you might imagine. Uh, and for some reason, I don't know if it's because of the air coming out of the lungs, but apparently his eyes kind of like came out a little bit just because of that impact that kind of like pressed. I mean, just imagine a very heavy object coming down on a child's chest. And yeah, of course, they said there was blood coming out of his mouth and ears. Yeah, it was bad. He was very young, and obviously he was just declared dead right there. Yeah, it was sad. Yeah, after that they stopped putting those goalposts there. They started putting them at the farthest side of the field, so nobody ever played with it. And I wish I could say that was the only child who died when I was in that middle school, but it was not. Uh, uh, that's gonna be a story of another day. But yeah, I just I think of that very often. Not very often. I wouldn't say I think of that kid every day, but every now and then I just get that memory, man. Uh, and so since this kid was a Muslim, believe it or not, he got buried like the same day at about 2 p.m. So he died at 10 or 11 there, and by 2 p.m. They had buried him, and yeah, there was actually a cemetery. For those who know Eldoret, Yosangishu Primary School and High School, there's a cemetery, Muslim cemetery, right behind the the school when you're facing going towards Uganda Road. Yeah, so that just goes to show how fragile life is. I mean, you can just wake up today and be well, and the next day you can just be gone. I mean, this kid's mother, this Abdul's mother, that day prepared his child to go to school, packed his lunch, kissed him goodbye, and she was probably hoping to see him or expecting to see him by the end of the day. But what she ended up having in the middle of the day was the body of her child, and yeah, he was buried and he died, and yeah, it was a huge deal. It was very horrible. I just hope nobody ever gets to experience that. I mean, I would never know what to expect to do if that ever happened to someone I know or love. But yeah, it's life. It's life. It's really bad, but yeah, it happens. Yeah, and that's my story for today. Extremely sad, but yeah. Anyway, on to uh, oh, hi, Jamatsu. Jamatsu, I was actually telling a very horrible story today. You can go back and watch. Anyway, you can catch this episode on YouTube. I'll be uploading it in a few. But right before I go, let's go ahead and do a few shout outs. Shout out to Jamatsu Yazi. Thank you very much, Mr. Jamatsu. He's a very famous guy. I hope you're doing great, Jamatsu. Thank you to Tyrone Beer. Sorry I missed your call, bro. Also, thank you to Moses Bet. Thank you very much. Thank you to Roger Tony. Thank you to Ali Nero, the wonderful Ali Nero. Thank you to Sabit Felix, and to Lynn Churchir, and to Kimeli Kevin. I don't know who Kimeli Kevin is, but thank you very much, brother. Also, special thanks to Kathy Nisek, JB Correa. Thank you very much. And that kind of wraps up my video for today. Yeah, y'all appreciate everyone you have. Appreciate your family when they're still there. It's because life can come into an end pretty quick. It's sad, but it's true. Till next time.